Welcome to my 1 year and 19-day check-in with no nicotine. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about why you should never give up. And, this might be self-explanatory for most. I'm sure a lot of you out there already know this. But why you should never give up, there's a lot to never giving up. There's a lot to that, and it all starts with, what are your reasons for why you're doing what you're doing? What are your reasons that you have for it? And are those reasons, enough to push you forward, enough to never give up, to never even ponder giving up? And if you do, ponder giving up, once or twice or however many times, know that regardless of what you're going through, never give up, regardless of what you're going through. And that's more of a, motivational phrase, is to never give up, because it's in terms of when it's right for you. It's in terms of doing the right thing, rather than, we're not talking about, doing drugs, never give up. No, we're not talking about that. In that term, giving up is more about giving up that action, or giving up that, let's say, sacrificing that behavior. We're not talking about that specifically. We're talking about the phrase, why you should never give up. In terms of what you're doing when you say, oh, I'm never going to give up these addictions, I'm never going to give up these behaviors, you're also saying that I'm going to constantly give up on my mental state of being. I'm going to constantly give up on my physical state of well-being. I'm going to constantly give up on my mental, emotional, and spiritual state of well-being. That's ideally what you're saying, is you're giving up in certain places if you're saying, oh, I'm never going to give up. So don't invert this and say, oh, this is reasons why I should never give up, my toxic traits or my negative behaviors. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying why one should never give up is to always push themselves forward. Never give up because something's not going right in the moment, because that's not the case. That's not going to be the case long run if you actually, don't give up. If you continue on being disciplined, you continue on putting in that work. And if you do give up, then that's just you throwing in the towel, raising your hand, saying, oh, I can't do this anymore, or I'm not strong enough, or whatever it may be. When you really need to understand that you should never give up, regardless of what you're going through mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, or anything that you're going through. You should never give up. So why mentally you should never give up? Mentally you should never give up because you always need to know that even if you don't know something mentally, even if you are unsure, or you are struggling with understanding something when it comes to mentally, or it's super difficult for you to apply your mental state of being towards this thing, know that throughout the process of not giving up and through applying yourself, regardless of the opposition, you are going to develop those answers. You are going to develop that state of mind, that mental state of being that is going to help you to now apply in what you need. That constant repetition of not giving up and applying that pressure towards your goals will mentally have you creating that mental strength and that mental stability. And now you'll even be able to develop those mental forms that you need in order to now exist in this mental state of being that you are striving for. And you'll be able to, when you don't give up mentally, to continue on through each experience with the strength that you are always striving to mentally be strong, that you are always striving to not mentally give up, that you are always striving to mentally hold yourself accountable and hold situations that you're um, in a place in your state of being that is not, oh, you know what, I just don't care anymore, or doesn't matter what's going to happen. And of course, you can get those thoughts where you think, oh, I just don't care anymore, oh, I'm just going to turn off when it comes to mentally. Okay, well, you can just not care anymore, but you can also, at the same time, mentally be present. You can also mentally not give up by, okay, go ahead and take that action forward when it comes to mentally, of, oh, you know, I'm not going to pay attention to it anymore or whatnot, and see how that gives you results. See where you are then when it comes to the mental state of being you're in, because the more that you say, okay, I don't want to even pay attention to that, I'm not going to deal with this thought forms or these thoughts, the more you're going to be more detached from mentally that space that you're trying to get to. And that space that you're trying to get to is fully attainable. You just have to know to never give up. Physically, why should one never give up? Why should you never give up? Why should I never give up physically? Well, it's because physically, you always want to move forward. You don't want to be stopped in your tracks physically, or you don't want to go through some tough situation when it comes to physically and then end up saying, you know what, I give up. You know, there's too much going on right now, dealing with too much when it comes to physically, I simply give up. You don't want to do that, because physically you're going to lose all your power. You're going to lose all that momentum that you had when it comes to what are you physically doing in your life right now? What physical actions are you carrying on through the present state down the line? And physically, if you're allowing the obstacles, the challenges, the opposition when it comes to physically affect you and allowing it to, like I said, give up, throw in the towel, any of that, if you're allowing that to happen, then physically you're showing that you're weak. So physically show that you have the strength to continue on going through whatever it is that faces you when it comes to physically. I don't care if you're beaten up. I don't care if you physically, you know, are going through tough times. I don't care. I don't know why I'm counting, but I don't care what it is that you're dealing with physically. Do not give up. Never give up when it comes to what you're going through physically, because you don't know how it's going to affect you if you just give up. You throw your hands up. You'll never know what would change and what would occur had you gone through those difficult times, rather than giving up when it comes to physically. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm physically, you're showing that you're weak. And in order to not give up physically, you have to know that you're strong in any circumstance that you're in. Never give up physically, regardless of what comes your way. Never give up, regardless of where you are in your life, regardless of where you want to be in your life. Never give up, because you will get to where you deserve to be. It's just a matter of not giving up, and it's a matter of continuing on to put in that work. And like I said, regardless of what you see physically in the external world, regardless of what you see, if you don't see something happening that you want happening, then continue on putting in that work. Do not give up, because you will reach that space physically. You will reach that space that you want to be in when it comes to physically, and the one that you deserve to be in when it comes to physically, as long as we do not give up on being the best versions of ourselves physically, taking care of ourselves physically. Don't give up on that thing. It's okay to, not be doing the full best version of what we can do to take care of oneself physically, as long as we are not giving up on pursuing the path of taking care physically and of making sure your physical state is in a state of well-being. And don't stop going through it, regardless of, like I said, I don't care if you're meeting physical opposition, if you're sick, other people are causing you issues, you're having other people, let's say, attacking you, or so you think so. Anything that you're going through, see it for what it is. Look at it through that perspective of, how can I find the truth out of this perspective? Take that truth with you and use it to learn something, and to pushing you with that momentum of, okay, I went through something difficult. I'm going to allow this to help me to not give up. And not only to not give up, but to never give up. Never give up when it comes to physically. Never give up in anything. Don't do it, because you have to put in that energy work. You have to put in that work in the physical world towards that goal, towards that dream, towards where you want to be, towards what you're working towards. You have to put in that work. And if you're not putting in that work, then you're going to have that sense of, oh, I'm just giving up right now. Whereas if you never give up and you continuously put in that work, you are working towards manifesting that to become a reality when it comes to that coming into fruition. If you continue on that path physically, you will get to where you need to be. And mentally, you'll also get to where you need to be. Emotionally, why you should never give up. You shouldn't give up just because you feel sad, or just because you feel depressed, or because you feel like you're not going to get to where you need to be or where you deserve to be. Do not give up just based off on how you feel. Regardless of what that may be aware of how you feel emotionally, yet don't allow it to allow you to not pursue the actions and basically how you are even existing. Don't allow it to change that. Don't allow it to have influence on that. And yes, like I said, be aware of that and use it as a way of guiding yourself through your experiences. But emotionally, do not give up. You will experience higher emotions, or let's say more stable emotions, or exist in a more stable space when it comes to your emotional state of being, just as long as you don't give up on yourself. As long as you don't give in to those feelings of, I don't want to do this anymore, the path that I'm on right now, I want to give up on. No, don't do that. Never give up, especially when it comes to just because you don't feel like it right now. I've had to realize that regardless of what you feel, you have to continuously moving forward. Continue on moving forward, regardless of how you feel. Even if you feel like, I'm a failure, I'm not doing exactly what I need to be doing right now, I don't know that I'll ever get there, I don't feel like I'll ever get there. Even when I am making small progress, I still feel as if I'm not that. I still feel as if I'm not getting there. You know, don't even pay attention to that stuff. As you do have the possibility to be aware of those feelings, don't allow those to have you give up. Only use those as a way to emotionally have you understand that you're going through things, and that you're going through this, and that these challenges that you're experiencing when it comes to emotionally will, at the end of the day, put you in a better space and put you in a stronger, more stable space when it comes to your emotional state of being. So don't give up on anything. Even if you feel sad, you feel grief, you feel regret, you feel embarrassed, you feel mocked, you feel attacked, you feel like people are trying to have a direct correlated effect on your emotional state of being, just use it as strength, use it as protection, use it as motivation to continue moving forward, And I'm telling you right now, you can't do that. It's much more effective when you use it as a means to push yourself forward and to not stay in a stagnated space, and to not allow what you're dealing with, what you're facing, to have you give up. As long as you are going for it, you will not be stopped. You will not even be put in the position to give up, because you know at the starting point of it, you don't have any plans on giving up. When you came into this world, you didn't have plans on giving up. Your experiences you went through, you're still here. You obviously made it here. That has to do with never giving up. You're still here. And I wish I made this shirt, but when I did see it in the store, I pretty much thought that already, because I'm like, you know, that's just a phrase that is important, you could say. I see the reason for, you know, there's all sorts of phrases, motivational phrases or catchphrases, whatever it may be, that there are. Yet this one, you can really understand the starting point of who created that phrase and, you know, the meaning behind it. So that's why I think it has a deeper meaning, and why I even got it in the first place. And at last, the reason why I'm making this video is to never give up, and to push forward that thinking of never give up, or that feeling of never give up, or that circumstance that you're in physically of never giving up, or spiritually when it comes to whatever you're dealing with in your life, spiritually, what things are transpiring. It's about, I'm not gonna ever give up, you know, even after this existence, spiritually, I'm never going to give up, whether the afterlife may have in store. So let's talk about spiritually. Never give up. Just never give up on yourself spiritually. Never give up backing yourself when it comes to having your own back, no matter what. It's great to have other people's backs, and if you're able to be there for someone else, you need to understand that you need to be there for yourself as well. So like it said, spiritually, just never give up, because you don't know how continuing on in good spirits throughout these experiences that you're having, you're not exactly giving up. You're just continuing on having your own back, supporting yourself when it comes to spiritually, because, and let's hope, like I said, whatever the afterlife may have in store for you, let that be greatness and for oneself. And then let's talk about, you know, spiritually. Yeah, sure, it's great to be there for someone else, but you have to be there for yourself. So when it comes to spiritually never giving up, always have your back regardless of what you're dealing with mentally, physically, emotionally. Spiritually, be aware of the path that you're on, and that regardless of what you're going through, don't give up. Continue on that path. And if you do this, you will notice confirmations and things that are going to transpire in your existence and through your experiences that are just going to push you. And those are sometimes things that, sure, they occur mentally, they occur in the physical existence, emotionally, they have emotions in that experience. Regardless of that, there's stuff that's unseen that spiritually you can sense, that are confirmations and that are synchronicities that you can view and be aware of that will continue on pushing you to never give up and to continue on throughout whatever you're dealing with regardless. So that's going to be it for this video. Catch you in the next one.